Welcome back to the basement, Tampa Bay. We've missed you down here, and we're ready to see what you have to offer us this time. So far, selling Corey Dickerson for pennies on the dollar and replacing him with CJ Cron seems like this team might even provide me with some laughs this season. When I look at this lineup, I see some pretty good pieces. Denard Span and Kevin Kiermaier and Brad Miller are pretty good fits in Tropicana Field. Malik Smith isn't bad either. He's listed as questionable for opening day right now. But otherwise, they have some other pieces. Really, Wilson Ramos and CJ Cron might be decent, although I said that he got traded for pennies on the dollar, or he was the penny on the dollar in terms of the Corey Dickerson trade, and he's not as good of a fit in Tropicana as Corey Dickerson is. So I don't know if he's going to be that good. In Tropicana. Otherwise, this lineup is not. It's not. I have a hard time putting this lineup above other lineups like the Reds per se, and there really isn't much to go about with this team, and there really isn't much to go about when it comes to their lineup. Kevin Kiermaier could have the best season of his career, but his best season of his career so far was last year, hitting wise at least. He still got that glove, but this lineup is made from a few castaways and Kevin Kiermaier, so I don't see much going with this lineup, and I'm giving it a C- grade. When it comes to their bench, however, still not good. Still not that good. They ended up getting Joey Wendell and Micah Johnson to be infielders in the majors. Micah Johnson is kind of listed as a utility guy since he can play second base and outfield according to rosterresource.com, and there's Daniel Robertson, infield and outfield. He was a top prospect, and he was also an ex-athletic too, at least in terms of their farm system. But when it comes to the farm system, they have Kurt Caselli as their depth catcher in AAA. Yeah, AAA. And there's also Joe McCarthy and Keen Wong, and there's also a couple of top prospects that could come up this year in Christian Arroyo and Willie Adams, and then there's Johnny Field, he could probably come up this year. There's Jake Bowers, another prospect that could come up this year, and same with Justin Williams. So they're likely going to be playing some of their prospects this year, which means that they're probably going to trade Carlos Gomez and or Malik Smith. They might actually keep Malik Smith. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Malik Smith. I think having a speedster like him is valuable in certain situations, so they should probably keep him. But in terms of their depth, not that good either. So I'm giving it a C- also. And now when it comes to their starting rotation, it's Chris Archer, Blake Snell, and Jacob Faria. Chris Archer has had some pretty good seasons. He's had his ERA at around 4 a couple of seasons, but he's a guy that could probably be traded, considering that he's 29 years old, and he's a guy that you can get a decent back from another team for him. So yeah, he's had back-to-back seasons with ERAs at around 4, but his FIP was below 4. His FIP was below 4, so Chris Archer, you can still get really good value for him. And Blake Snell is a guy that you can build around the pitching staff for the future. He's 25, but he's still a guy that I think you can build around, projected to do pretty well. Nathan Eovaldi is going to be back, and they have a couple of injuries, a couple of Tommy John surgeries handed out to Jose De Leon and Brent Honeywell, so that's rather unfortunate. And outside of Chris Archer, this rotation, not great, but they do have Chris Archer, and they do have Blake Snell and Jacob Faria, so I'm giving it a C+. It's decent, I guess. So you can sell off some pieces to make it not decent so that you can get a higher draft pick. But when it comes to guys that could come up this year, there's Anthony Banda, whom they acquired from the Steven Sousa trade. So he could come up this year. We'll see how well he does, if he does come up this year. And yeah, I mean, otherwise the rotation, decent, but not great. Not that good either. Not really solid. Just decent. And now with the bullpen, they have a few pieces in the bullpen. Alex Colomb, Daniel Hudson, Dan Jennings, Chaz Rowe. I mean, the bullpen isn't much better than the rotation, so I'm giving their bullpen a C grade in their own right. I like Alex Colomb in Tropicana. They also acquired Daniel Hudson, so we'll see how the bullpen ends up going for the Rays, and we'll see how they end up performing. And so, yeah, I mean, in terms of this roster, not very complete, and doesn't have enough pieces to supplement. Doesn't have enough depth either for me to consider this team doing any better than where I have them right now. So yeah, I don't see Tampa Bay doing very well this year. They play in a tough AL East and will struggle a bit in interleague play against the Nats, Braves, and even Phillies. In terms of the direction, this team needs to blow it up should they struggle like I have them projecting to, even if that means trading Chris Archer, especially if his ERA plays as well as his FIP. Let your prospects come up and get rid of some vets that don't serve much of a spot in this team's future. Nonetheless, enjoy your time officially being back in the basement and rolling out the tanks. The over-under from Fangraphs is 78 and 84, but my final prediction is under at 65 and 97. And I have them finishing 5th in the AL East. Let me know if you agree, let me know why I'm undervaluing the talent on this baseball club. These are predictions, and so if they have rationale, I will listen to your comments. But otherwise, that will do it for this Rays edition of the 2018 MLB season previews for every single team, and so long.